Okay, now it's time for our Ask Me Anything question from the audience. I love that y'all are leaving me voice memos on the Chani app. Here is this week's.
Hi, Chani. My question has to do with being a parent. I have an 8-month-old and I'm curious about his chart. I've taken a cursory glance at it. I've heard some astrologers say that looking at your child's chart is a little bit taboo because it's kind of personal information that maybe you could look at together, but maybe not kind of use it over their head. I just would be interested to use it to help him in whatever life struggles he might deal with. So I was just curious what your take was on that and kind of the predictive nature of astrology that might go along with that question. Thanks.
I mean, this is the deal with children being the parents of a child. We have so much power over them. You know, children have a situation where they just have to hope, we as children have to hope that, you know, the adults in charge are going to have our best interests in mind. So I think knowing their astrology chart is kind of the least of it. But I do think that it is important to know your child's astrology chart if you don't hold it against them and if you don't presume to understand how they themselves as individual souls are going to live out their life's purpose, because you don't know. I will tell you one thing. When my daughter was born, I was aghast that she had the setup that she did. Why? Because I was in my reptile brain, because, you know, when the child is born, everyone's in like, is everyone okay? Fight or like, it's a traumatic experience. Birth is a traumatic experience. It's a gorgeous, beautiful, you know, it's all the things. Hopefully it is a gorgeous, beautiful experience, but it's also traumatic. Like it's a lot, as everybody knows who's experienced it or experienced it by proxy. So because I was in that state of like, is my wife going to be okay? Is my baby going to be okay? You know, like all of that. I wasn't the one that gave birth. I was the supportive parent. So I was like, you know, trying to see if everyone was okay the whole time. And when I saw her chart, I mean, I knew exactly what each rising sign would mean for her chart. I was like, oh no, is she going to be okay? I projected all of my fears onto her chart. Totally not the thing to do. But it is what you do when you're a parent. You do that. And so you have to know that you're going to do that. You have to know that because you're so protective of them, because they're just little tiny, like, you know, little noodles in your hand, and you've got to like hope that, like, make sure and keep them safe and do all the things that you are going to first and foremost, because you're in your reptile brain, you're in your survival brain. Maybe I'm saying that wrong, but you're in your survival brain. You are going to worry first. And I have worked with parents and they've been like, oh no, my child's sun is in the 8th house. Does that mean that, you know, their life is going to be really hard? And it's like, no, that's not what that means. But when it happens to you, that is what I thought. You know, I thought my child's set up. I was like, oh no, what is? And then I look at it now and I'm like, oh my God, it's like she's got so many gorgeous things and so many ways to work with it. And now that I understand her more as her own person, she's still little, but I'm like, oh, that's how you're expressing that. And, you know, we have to live out our life together and see how she's going to work with it. But I know enough as an astrologer to know better. And still, I projected my fears onto it because I was in a really vulnerable situation. So I think what I would say is like, wait until you feel sturdy. Wait until you feel like, okay, I'm recovered from the birth process, or we as a family have like recovered, or you're not in like the throes of something that you feel is really traumatic or difficult. But when you're in a place where you feel like you can digest the information and be somewhat, because you can't be totally, but be somewhat objective when you hear it, which again, it's a tall order, but somewhat, then you can try to understand your child from other points of view. But you need to know that just like you, like I lived out my chart in a very different way when I was 5 and when I was 15 and when I was 25 than I do now, like really different. And my hard stuff was so hard when I was young. And now it's really not. I mean, it's still, you know, That gives me a run for my money. But I have faculties, I have resources, I've developed skills, I have support now that I never had. And you also have to realize that if you grew up without the support that you needed, but you are able to give your child at least most of the support that they need, that they are going to have a radically different experience of everything difficult in their chart than you did. You know what I'm saying? When you have a difficult setup astrologically, but you have parents who are parenting you, who are helping you, and who, you have a decent relationship with, at least, like, you're loved. It's a different world than if you have really difficult stuff and you don't know you're loved and you don't know you're okay. Just like anything else, psychologically, like, we all have our own makeup, and that's much harder when we don't know if we're loved than if we do know that we're loved. So we have to take everything into consideration when we're looking at our child's chart. But I think it's such a blessing that I know her chart. I mean, my God. And then I get to love that part of her, and I get to understand a whole new way of understanding those signs and those planets and those houses and that setup and this aspecting that. And this is oh yes, it manifests like this for her. Of course it does. It just gives me so much compassion for her, because it's my way of seeing people. It's my way of feeling witness. It's my way of witnessing the people that I love. So maybe I'm biased and it's worked really well for me. But again, not the whole time. I had a hard time at first. I had a misunderstanding at first. I had to give myself a talking to at first. So wait until you're in a good, stable kind of situation and you're able to take in the information. And when you do, know that you won't understand the full chart and you're not going to understand how they're going to use it all, but you're going to be there as their guide and as their adult, and you're going to use the wisdom that the chart has to help them accept who they are. Because that's the biggest gift I think we can give our kids, is just loving them for who they are. God, I'm getting emotional. It really is. It's like the biggest blessing of being a parent, is being able to just honor them and love them. And the chart can help you do that. And if it's not going to help you do that, don't look at it. If that's on you, I think it can help you do that. But if you can't do that with the information of the chart, then don't use it. But I think it's there. It's there. Find an astrologer who can help you. But you can also plug your child's astrology into the Chani app and read about them. Let some of it wash over you. If you're in a place where you're I'm not going to let my fears get the best of me. That's the deal. You have to make me that promise before you do that. Okay? Okay. Thank you for that question.